Kita says, any advice for online interviews that may be different that you have to keep in mind than in personal interviews? No, not really. Just the mechanics of like the camera and the sound and that kind of thing. Always wear pants, right? I'm wearing pants. You can see, right. You know, that was the funniest thing about those sort of meetings by telecommunications, right? When those first started, like about 5 years ago, it started to get mainstream. The newscasters going on the TV, and you know they're sitting there in their underwear and their shirt and their tie, and everyone can see it, right? That was the funniest part of it. There's some complications sometimes around file sharing. So if you're doing an online interview where the interviewer is sending you files, like a questionnaire or something like that, and you have to sort of complete it and send it back, that's an added level of complexity. The other thing I will say is that, like, look, if you are going to use a computer, okay, for business, and you are, if you're doing job interviews over your computer or device, okay, learn how to use your device. Okay, there's nothing more unprofessional than watching people fumble with like USB devices or flash drives, or, you know, like they can't work their own technology, and the pressure's on because it's either a job interview or a keynote or a presentation or something like that. There's nothing more unprofessional. Okay, if you are using your own device to do the conference or the stream or whatever it is, make sure it goes flawlessly. Use that software, whether it's Teams or Zoom or, you know, whatever you're using. Use it with other people. Get familiar with the software. Make sure that like they can see you and hear you perfectly. Make sure that there's no issues with how to use it or anything like that, because that's also something that they're going to be evaluating you on. You know, I mean, if you have a bad internet connection where you live, that's something you don't really have a lot of control over, but pretty much everything else you have control over. And if you don't get it right, it makes a bad first impression, you know? So don't neglect that when it comes time to prepare for job interviews, okay, if you're going to be doing remote interviews.